Hi, welcome. My name is Kailey. This will be a 30-minute gentle yoga practice. We'll do a little bit of flow, so maybe kind of a moderate level of energy, but we're going to start really easy, really slow. Meet me lying on your back in whatever position is comfortable for you. So you can lay down with the knees bent and the feet planted if that feels better on your lower back. Or if it feels good to extend the legs long, feel free to do so. Any variation really is fine with me. Another option that feels good to some people is taking kind of a butterfly shape with the legs. And then just let yourself settle in here. It might feel good to bring one hand toward your tummy and one hand toward your chest, just to get a little bit more of that tactile feedback. One of the very first things to notice, besides if you're picking up any sounds in the background, I have a cat eating off screen. One of the very first things to notice in your space, in your body, is where your body moves when you breathe. So notice if you feel the breath in the belly, in the chest, maybe in the throat or even the shoulders. And then bring your awareness to your middle back and the back of your ribs. With your next inhale, see if you can breathe into the back side of the ribs. So breathing into the ribs, kind of pressing the ribs down into the floor, the surface beneath you as your lungs fill. And then let that go. Bring your awareness into the sides of the ribs. So this time as you inhale, imagine that the air could spread out laterally, so out to the edges of the body as the lungs fill, the ribs move out to the sides. As you exhale, let the rib cage recoil, let the lungs empty, let the shoulders relax a bit. And then this time we'll bring the breath a little bit lower. So next inhale, breathe into your belly, maybe even all the way down into the pelvic floor, letting the belly expand like you're filling up a balloon. If you have a palm on your tummy, feel that hand rising. Exhale and let the belly soften, let the lungs empty. Bend the knees if they're not already bent, and then bring the arms into a goalpost shape by your side. Windshield wiper the knees just about 2 to 3 inches in each direction. See if you can go a little bit slower than you think you need to, a little bit slower than maybe feels natural. It's interesting to me, the more I practice like slowing down, the better it actually feels and the more connected I feel to my body. So initially slowing down feels, there's like some resistance, right? There's very much this mindset of go, 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 check it off the list. What's next? Can I be done with this yet? See if you can really just experiment with the mindset of being present for the experience and letting the experience actually be the reward itself. Of course, I hope we all feel better after a practice like this, but can you allow yourself to start to feel better even as you move here? Go ahead and increase the range of motion to whatever degree feels good in the hips. Couple more rounds. It might feel natural to nod the head the opposite direction of the knees. If that feels like too much in the neck today, go ahead and keep the nose pointing straight up. So we want to do what feels safe in the nervous system, what feels welcome in the body. Bring the knees back through neutral, feet underneath the knees. Bring the arms straight up over your head, so toward the ceiling, straight up over your shoulders, I should say. And then with the arms parallel, stretch the arms back up over your head. Let the shoulders drift up toward the ears. So you're growing long through the sides of the body. And then here, see if you can push into the feet a little bit and connect your lower back down into the mat as opposed to arching the spine here. Tuck the tailbone just a tiny bit. Find a little bit more length down in the sides of your lower waist. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, like you're making a snow angel on the floor, if you've got space, bring your arms down by your side, letting the palms rotate to face down, and then lift the hips up, taking a bridge pose. Lower the hips down, keep the tailbone tucked a bit, inhale the arms back up overhead. And then circle the arms out to the side and then down toward your hips, lift the hips. So take a couple of rounds like that, stretching out through the side body as you reach the arms up, and then opening up through the front side of the hips, through those hip flexors. If you've been sitting a lot today, for sure those hip flexors maybe are a little tight. And then when you feel complete with this, maybe take one or two more rounds. Zero rush to get there, but meet me on your hands and your knees when you're ready. Let the transition be deliberate, so we're not trying to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, but rather as skillfully as possible. A little different mindset. Circle the shoulders over the wrists once you get there a couple times, so counterclockwise or clockwise. And then switch the direction a couple times. Stay spacious in your lower back if you can. Come through neutral here. Inhale as you lift your right elbow up. Rotate the chest, right elbow. I'm doing my left elbow. You can do either elbow. Lift up and rotate the chest. As you exhale, thread that arm underneath the body. Inhale, lift the elbow again. See if you can lengthen out the breath so that you've got a lot of time to explore that range of motion. Long exhale as you thread the arm back underneath. And do two more like that. Nice long breaths. Finish your threaded needle. And then set that hand down. Circle over the wrists. Switch the direction and we'll do the other side. So whichever elbow you didn't do yet. Inhale, twirl open. Exhale, thread that arm underneath the body. 3 more. Last threaded needle here. And then back to all fours. Go ahead and walk the hands forward so that you can rest on your forearms. We'll take sphinx pose for a moment. Stretch out again through the hip flexors. Get yourself comfy in the upper body. I actually like to walk the elbows just a little bit out to the sides. So elbows are a little bit wider than shoulder distance here. That feels best in my shoulders. Feel free to experiment with what feels good in your body today. So traditional cueing, we bring the elbows right underneath the shoulders, and you can test that distance by bringing your fingertips toward the opposite arms for a moment. Look for some space though. The eyes soften or close. Bring some awareness into the sides of the neck here. Can you breathe in a way that creates a sense of more space here, or even feel free to move the head gently in a way that invites a little bit more sense of length in the sides of the neck. Take one more long inhale here, maybe tipping the chin up to stretch out through the front side of the neck and the throat. And then lower down with your exhale. Make a little pillow for your forehead by stacking the hands there. Feet are wide. Keep the left toes down and then lift the right leg. Point the right toes. Extend the right leg back, but actually out to the right a little bit. So Imagine that somebody's got that right ankle and they're just helping kind of stretch that right thigh bone away from the right hip socket. Set the foot down and switch sides. Same thing. Gentle contraction of the muscles in that lifted leg. Contracting the muscles is a great way to get a little bit of space in those joints. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Left thigh bone away from left hip. And then relax it all the way down. Bring your hands to the sides of your body. I'm going to take 3 cobra roll-ups here. Try and use your back instead of the hands. So you might even play around with floating the hands up as you inhale. You can use the fingertips or press into the floor gently, but primarily using these muscles that run alongside the spine. Exhale and lower down. 2 more with your breath here. Lower down, take it back to hands and knees from here. You're going to step the right foot forward between your thumbs. Keep the left knee down. So you might have to help the right foot forward. That's a-okay. And then backstroke your right arm up and open, finding a twist. Bring that right hand back down. Tuck the left set of toes under. Lift the chest, lift the arms into a W shape. So you're pulling the chest forward. Pause there. Very gentle engagement in your back and your left glutes, that back leg. Release the fingertips down. I'm going to straighten out the front leg just until you feel a stretch in the hamstrings. Take a moment to kind of check in with the back of that leg. It's totally normal to have some tightness in the hamstrings. It's actually really helpful for low back mobility and pelvic mobility. Keeping that whole region stable. When you're ready, rebend that front knee, walk the fingers forward. And take this into a dynamic stretch. You might stay right here and open up through that left leg's hip flexor, or you can walk back and forward a couple times. Notice how the right foot is moving. Feel free to lift the toes and pull them back toward the ankle. The next time you have the hands forward, tuck the back set of toes under. We're going to step to a relatively wide foot forward fold here. So feet at least hips distance apart, maybe a little wider. Bend the knees generously here. Catch the crooks of your opposite elbows. Might feel good to find a little sway today. Maybe today is one of the days where it just feels better to stay still and feel the connection between your feet and the floor. Release the fingertips down, heel to the feet a little bit wider apart, and then sit your hips down into a kind of squat, a goddess pose or malasana. Again, maybe shift the weight side to side, maybe not. If this is way more than your knees like today, feel free to separate the feet even wider and just kind of take a little like bear variation here and get a little space in the low back. Take a breath in. As you exhale, fold forward. Point the toes forward, but keep some space between them. Bend the left knee. Inhale, your right elbow comes up. Rotate the chest toward the right. Exhale, bring the right hand down. Bend the right knee. Inhale, left elbow comes up. Exhale it down. Take this side to side a couple more times. And the longer you can make the breath, the more time you have to explore that range of motion. Once you finished up with that left elbow, take it back into your forward fold. Heel to the feet back to hips distance. And then step your right foot to the back of the mat. Bend the right knee, drop the knee down. We're going to take that little sequence on the other side. So left arm comes up and open here, finding your twist. Release that left hand down. Lift the chest, lift the elbows, pull back a bit. The shoulders are gently hugging the spine, so finding some of that rotation in the shoulders. Squeezing gently through your right glutes. Release the hands down. Straighten out the left leg until you feel a stretch in the hamstring. Option to hold the stretch and breathe into the sensation, or make it a dynamic stretching back and forth from something like a lizard hip flexor stretch and a Hanuman half split stretch. Relax around the neck and the jaw again. Relax all the muscles around your eyes as you move. The next time you've got your hands forward, tuck the back toes if they're not already tucked. Step to that forward fold at the top. Feet separate pretty wide here. Sink your hips down into Malasana. The right arm comes up, inhale. Right hand comes down, exhale. Left arm comes up, breathe in. See if you can relax that hand. Left hand comes down as you breathe out, forward fold. Right arm comes up, bend the left knee, inhale for your twist. Exhale, release that hand down. Left arm comes up, breathe in. Hand releases as you breathe out. This time, heel toe the feet together. The left foot drops back, drop the left knee. Right arm open on an in-breath. Bring the hand down as you exhale. Lift the chest, bend the elbows. Inhale as you pull back. Half split, release the fingers on the breath out. Rebend the front knee. Inhale as you shift the weight forward and then step to your forward fold. Separate the feet, goddess pose, drop the hips down. Right arm, breathe in. Release it down as you breathe out. Inhale left. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right arm, bend the left knee. Forgot where we were going for a second. Exhale, release the right hand down. Left side, find that rotation, deep breath. Release it down as you exhale. All right, left foot or right foot rather to the back of the mat. Inhale your left arm up, left side like this. Exhale it down. Chest up, breathe in, bend the elbows. Half split as you breathe out. Rebend your front knee. Inhale, tuck the back toes. This time, bring your left knee underneath your left hip. Find cow, drop the belly, tip the tailbone up. Chest pulls forward gently here. Look over your right shoulder. Look over your left shoulder. Come through cat, tuck the tailbone, push the floor away with your hands. Stay here, maybe give the head a little shake. Option to come up onto the tips of the fingers. Engage the muscles in the backs of the wrists and in the hands. And then have a seat on your heels. Make your way onto your back. So just shift onto your back from there. When you land on your back, you can bring the knees into the chest and circle the knees over the low back. A little massage for the sacrum. And switch the direction of those circles. Extend your right leg up as you set the left foot down underneath the left knee here. And then point the right toes, flex the right foot, circle through the right ankle, or let that leg be still as you interlace your fingers right behind the knee or the calf. So I'm not going for a huge stretch here, just actually trying to let the muscles in that leg relax into their resting length as opposed to kind of pull them into the deepest stretch possible. One of the things that I've learned about muscle length and flexibility is actually the more that we pull on a muscle, trying to get it to open up and lengthen, the more the nervous system sends the signals to that muscle that it needs to tighten up. So it's like a Chinese finger trap or something. Like the more we pull on it, the tighter it actually gets. If you could relax into the length of that muscle, the nervous system will stop signaling it to tense up. Go ahead and find your figure. Actually, let's just take it into a twist. So bring the right knee on top of the left knee. Shift your hips a bit to your right, and then drop the knees to the left. You can tee out the right arm or cactus the right arm. Adjust the hips a bit. We'll be here for just about 20 seconds in this twist. Notice the sensation of the breath. Take a breath in. And then unwind as you exhale. Right foot's going to stay down underneath the right hip. Left leg comes up. You might just bring that leg up and move around through the foot in any way that it feels good. That could be a great place to stay here. Kind of let the leg drain, let gravity act on that leg in the opposite way as it does all day when we're on our feet. You might choose to interlace your hands somewhere behind that left leg. Whatever you do, see if you can avoid forcing or pulling. You let the muscles in the back of your head melt. And if your head's coming up off the floor, go ahead and slide a pillow or whatever you've got convenient underneath the back of the head so that you're not straining those muscles back in the back side of the neck. Set up for your spinal twist, crossing the left knee over the right knee. If you shift the hips just a little bit to the left, you have more space for the pelvis. Drop the knees to the right, find your twist. And see if you can again connect to the breath. You can experiment, right? Inhale, see if you can move one of the breaths into the back side of the ribs, inflating the back of the lungs. Maybe trying the sides of the ribs with one of your inhales or the belly. When you're ready, come back through the center. Separate the feet to max distance. Knees are still bent just for a moment longer, but walk the feet forward a bit. Windshield wiper your knees again, nice and slow. Let any tension in the hips, the inside of the hips, the outside of the hips, let it start to melt. And then gradually, as you continue to windshield wiper the knees, start to stretch the legs farther out in front of you until you land in a Shavasana. So take your time to get there. Feel free to shift through the shoulders a bit. Make yourself as comfy as you possibly can here. And once you land in Shavasana, let the muscles again across the shoulders melt all the way down through the spine. Do a very brief Yoga Nidra style body scan. Begin by bringing your awareness to the toes. As different parts of the body are mentioned, you can send your awareness to those spaces and relax the tissues around those parts of the body. Totally relaxing through the toes and the soles of the feet. tops of the feet, the ankles, up through the lower legs, letting go through the knees, relaxing through the upper legs, up into the glutes, the pelvis, relaxing across the front of the hips and around to the lower back. Softening around the belly, up through the sides of the waist. Bringing your awareness to your ribs. With your next exhale, allowing the rib cage to recoil and soften and settle. Moving the awareness up into the tips of the fingers, softening through the palms of the hands into the wrists, up through the forearms, to the elbows, relaxing the upper arms, up into the shoulders, the backs of the shoulders beneath you, up through the upper back into the neck, around to the throat, bringing the awareness to the jaw and the mouth. And relaxing through the rest of the face, the muscles around the eyes, smoothing across the forehead and the brow, and allowing the back of the head to melt, the sides of the scalp, all the way up to the crown of the head. As you release to a more global awareness of your body, just notice where your attention drifts, different sensations in the body, different thoughts that arise. There's nothing that you need to do, nothing that you need to be or figure out in this moment. Be here for just about 40 seconds. See what you can let go of physically and mentally. And listen for the sound of my voice shortly to close. When you feel ready, you can bring your awareness back into your body with some very gentle movement or some deeper breath. May feel good to nod the head side to side. And maybe slide the legs all the way together, point the toes, reach the arms back up over your head, interlace your fingers. Big long body stretch here as you breathe in. Exhale. And work your way gradually up to a seat. Again, moving skillfully. Sometimes that means sometimes you can move skillfully and quickly. And sometimes slowing down is a way to find a little bit more nuance, a little bit more specificity to our movement. When you land, give yourself one more moment of stillness, bringing your hands to your heart, either in Anjali Mudra or placing the palms around the heart space for a moment of connection. Thank yourself for your practice. Thank yourself for showing up in your body, in your mind. And I thank you really deeply for sharing some of your day with me. Have a great rest of whatever your day brings.